Can we just start with some rhythmic limbering, which is going to take us into a step touch pattern. We are going to side step touch, and then we're going to front and back rock step, right? Can you take your arms nice and easy peasy? I am exaggerating the hip swing, okay? It doesn't have to be that. You can stop, clean line, or if your body feels like extra I don't know, expressive today, then let yourself go. But give me 4 more, and then we're going to stop the arms, right? Bring the arms to a complete stop, and I want you to give me a heel tap to the front, right? I know this isn't the rock step. We're going to work into that, right? So as it seems like there shouldn't be any more direction necessary for this heel tap, but guess what I have seen over my years of standing in front of people is sometimes the heel tap might look like this, which if you're just doing a straightforward heel tap, you are increasing the challenge from a balance standpoint. So if you will allow your feet to separate and tap like you're tapping to a point right in the middle, it allows your body weight to shift side to side. You've got enough space for the hip swing, and you should feel like it's a more natural movement. Let's try the other. Tighten yourself up, right? And you, I hope, realize that, oh, like my body's a little more in a quiet state, like I have to stay more focused to do this versus feet apart. Now, that could just be me because I'm so used to doing wide tap, and then nice and easy, you go back to your little swish from side to side. Okay, 4 more, 3 more, 2 more, front tap, right? The arms, it's like you're leading the band, right? If your shoulders feel good, go side to side, arms float with the legs. You see that we're starting a pattern. 4 more, 4. Can you guess what comes next? 3, 2, now forward, arms, push, pull, right? The feet are still stepping a little bit apart because we've already dissected down our pattern is a 4 count step. Swish side to side, 4, 3, right? 2, do 1 more. Arms and legs to the front, push, pull, push, pull, push, pull. Now, marching feet, because that's your next transition into your rock step. It doesn't matter to me which leg you start off with, but I'm going to be starting on this side of my body. So rock, step back, rock, step back. And now, just for the sake of running our little experiment into spatial awareness, your feet can maintain this pattern, and we can do 4 quarter turns and all end up right back here facing each other, right? Depending on which leg you started is going to determine which way you start your quarter turn. For me, since I'm in my right leg lead, which if you're mirroring me, you're in left leg lead, we're going to start our first quarter turn this way, right? 1 quarter turn, go the next quarter turn, rock, step and turn, rock, step and turn, rock, marching feet. The good news is that even if you didn't do your quarter turns, it doesn't matter because I will never know. Okay. Other leg, rock, step back. Okay. So your quarter turns are now going to go the other way, right? And even if you're like, no, I want to do it, it's not a right or wrong. Even if you go the different direction, you're just trying to pivot your body around. Go now, right? As you go into your front step, go, right? You're trying to pivot around without getting hung up needing to do a repeating step. This is part of your brain processing. Marching feet, marching feet, marching feet. Ready? Give me your little heel taps to the front. Heel, let the feet separate, right? We've already decided arms and legs, right? Swish, push forward, do 3, do 2, side to side, step touch, arms with the legs, swishy swish, right? When you get out of this 4 counts, 1, 2, 3, let's march. Let's rock step, okay? Quarter turns back around to the front. Go now, quarter turn, quarter turn. You've got to complete your rock step in order, marching feet, other leg rock step, right? So you've got to rock back, push back, because that's what's going to propel you into your quarter turn. Go now, quarter turn, push back, step and turn, push back, rotate your body. And what if you're like marching feet? You're going to get to do it all one more time, and then we're going to move on. This is all just part of our rhythmic limbering. We're just trying to get our brain going, dee, 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 fire, get away from the lists of things that you have created for yourself to do today. And I'm giving you thinking things so that you stay present with me. In the event your body is like tight and restrictive, you might find it hard to actually make the quarter turn. Like you might need 6 little turns instead of the 4 that we're trying to do it in. So don't get frustrated. I'm just trying to be super specific to get you back in line with me. But if you need more rock steps to get around, then you do that. So where are we starting? Heel taps to the front. Open up your stride. This is nice and easy. This little heel tap takes you right into your step touch. Ready? Step touch with the swishy arms. 4, 3, 2, marching feet, march, march. Pick your rock step leg. Start your turns, right? Push yourself around. Push, pull it back. Push forward, pull it back. Complete it. You're going to march again so that we switch legs. Go to the other leg. Turn. It happened really fast, right? Push, pull, push. Last time around. And you're back to your march feet. Wipe the slate clean. Bring yourself to a stance. Can we get into a little bit of our vibration treatment? Belly to spine. Pull your chin back. Get your shoulders opened up away from your ears. Keep trying to zip up, right? Arms are coming out. This is like a really interesting thing, right? Do you feel extra parts of your body like, gravity is helping you have extra shake going on? This is, and I don't even have a chest, so to speak of, but thank goodness the sports bra is nice and tight. Arms go up, arms go up. Everything's going up. Reach up, right? Can you take your gaze now? Let your eyes start glancing higher, higher. Squeeze the buns. Are your arms, your hands still in your sight line? Pull them back a little bit more unless your shoulders protest that. And now reach the arms forward like you're passing something off to someone who's just out of your reach, and down they go. Arms to the sides, up they come. Raise up, raise up, raise up, raise up, palm to palm. You're reaching into each other, but I don't mean actually close it. I mean just keep the hands reaching palm to palm. Squeeze the buns, belly to spine, pull your neck into neutral, right? And now that your neck is into neutral, now we're going to float the head up. If you can maintain your balance, your heels are just bobbing forward, reach the arms, pass it off. Belly to spine. This is all part of your core work, believe it or not. Arms are coming down. Turn the palms out. Expand. Feel the stretch through the biceps. Wow. Stretch. Imagine that someone's standing on the sides of you and they're playing a little tug of war with your wrists and they're helping you get your arms long, not jacked up, swallowing up your neck. right? The arms are long. You're still bouncing. It's all working. Squeeze the buns, raise it up, raise it up. I mean, isn't it pretty amazing that I find this so valuable that I'm taking 3 to 4 minutes of these precious moments that we have to train, and we're doing this. That's how important I feel like this type of training is for the body. One more, turn the hands out, push them down, get the tug of war action going, belly to spine. And if your body is doing anything remotely like mine, you should feel like your calves are starting to fire up, your buns are getting a little fatigued. Believe it or not, your hamstrings, even though the legs are straight, are active because your buns are tight. Raise it up. The quadriceps are working. All of your core muscles are engaged because you're holding yourself at attention. The triceps are active because you have elbow extension. Now, raise your gaze. When the head and the chin tip up, don't let the hips push forward. As a matter of fact, see if you can draw your buns into a tighter contraction and then reach the arms forward. Sorry, letting my syllables drag on, and relax. What if you're like 15 minutes? Done. You literally could walk away right now having stimulated so many of your parts. So if that's what your body feels like it's telling you to do, that you feel energized and good, walk away while you still feel good. If not, stay with me. We're going to move into the next section, right? Grab a drink if you want to. If you have your Eric's pad or a pillow, time to incorporate a little bit of balance work, okay? Say, oh no, balance is tricky. So for me, with the Eric's pad, I'm going to put one foot right in the middle of the pad. If you're using your pillow, it's the same thing. And then I'm going to slowly transition up to the pad. And as I'm transitioning, my rear foot is guiding me up, right? I could move so much faster, but my success rate, soften the knee that's on your pillow. And if you opt to not put a pillow down, it's still the same setup. Watch. Pick the foot. The back leg helps you transfer to the front leg, and then there you are, right? So if you feel like the single leg balance work on your accessory is too much, get it out of your way. Spread your toes, look down, make sure that your toes and heel are tracking forward, right? And then soften the knee that you stand on. You don't have to, it's just harder if you don't. On the pad or your pillow with a soft knee, it allows your body to, it gives you a little bit more ability to recover from slightly unstable positions. So I'm actually now intentionally swaying myself, because sometimes that's what your body's going to do. And now I'm going to stiffen up my leg, and I may fall off the cushion, right? So with a stiff knee, you have less ability to recover. So if you find that you keep falling off your gadget, then you go, oh, that's because I'm in stiff knee. If you can get the other leg up, you're just holding here. And if you're like, Michelle, I'm today's low impact and toning and aerobic, I don't want to be doing balance work. You only got 30 more seconds. Release, relax, switch legs. Step up on it. Your first leg was very telling. If you did not get comfortable and you were using a pillow, discard your pillow and try to do the balance move just in single leg stance, right? Without your accessory. So my transition from rear foot to front foot happens really slowly. I feel my body, shoulders pull back over the hip, the knee is soft, and then I become less and less reliant on my down foot. But I move it so slow as to not overcorrect. All right. And the great thing is that if I feel myself wobble slightly further than I feel like I can adjust from, I just barely put the toe down. It doesn't have to, most people wouldn't even realize that I am barely tapping my toe to help me. So that's how subtle your movement should be if you're needing to help yourself adjust. Keep it quiet and tight, right? You can run your experiment. Can you stand all the way up and squeeze your buns and pull your belly in and tighten at the knee, shoulders down, retracted, chin at neutral, eyes at the horizon? Oh my goodness. Don't forget to breathe and enjoy yourself too. Release and relax. You're done with your cushion. All right. Get your exercise band, please. This is something we have not done, and I don't even know how long. All right. So even if it's not this particular band and you have a nice light resistor band is what you need. I want you to stand on your band. I want the feet close together. And then without pulling up on the band, it's slack and you want to measure to make sure that your band is even. And I know that sounds like duh, but guess what? Sometimes I watch people stand on the band and stand up and they don't even realize that it's not even. So I'm trying to prevent you from starting from the wrong spot. So feet together, the band measurement is the same from right to left, and then grab your handles, or you're not. Actually, I said that wrong. Stay with me, I'm sorry. If you are using a longer band that has handles, you will need to crisscross your band because you need to eat up a little bit of the band. But if you're using the red band that I sent you, then it's measured appropriately. You don't need to cross it or it'll be too tight. But here's where you start. Separate your feet a little bit. You guys are like, yeah, I know this one. Our little TikToks. Your band. What if you kick your little leg out and your band slides right off your foot? Chances are your foot is angled the wrong direction. So look down at your feet. For that moment that both feet are on the floor, you're checking to make sure two things. That at the minimum, they're pointed straight ahead. And even better would be that they're slightly internally rotated. All right. So you're like, check. Okay. Pull yourself back up to your good rise. Shoulders are out of the ears. And the movement is so small to the side, right? Push, tick, tock. We don't need any extra leg thrust. Nope. All we want to do is stay in a neutral body where you can control abs and glutes. Good framework, right? The burn should already be happening right through the outer portion of the hip. 5, 4, 3, 2, release. You should feel like you want to walk out of that. Okay. Give them a little hands-on love. Grab them, squeeze them. You're like, oh, I do have some muscle back there, right? Ready? Next move. So that was called hip abduction. And now you're going to do hip extension. So the body is going to be, again, same setup on your band. measurement, pull up. I'm going to turn to the side. Hip extension. It's just this. See how my leg is pushing back? And now when I turn to the front, you're going to see something else. So right now, it should be very visible that my leg is pushing back only a couple of inches from the stance leg. It's so small. Keep it small. And now as I turn to the front, you'll see something else. My feet stay hip width apart, right? Are you doing it? And then the leg has a little freedom so that as it's off the floor, it has a smidgen of a flare happening. It's not a forced flare. It's just a natural pushback. Shoulders, right? Okay, and so now I'm going to show you very wrong. So often when people work with bands, what happens is they generate like extra oomph out of it, and that might be because they're using too much resistance that they have to like get a momentum thing. But if you would imagine that you have a wall right in front of you, all right, if you push your leg back and your face comes forward and your body is like this lever, you are not using your stabilizers properly. And I hope that again you're like, oh gosh, could she stop talking? The burn is happening. Release and relax. There's an interesting thing with those two movements. One was lateral and one was a rear tracker, but they should both feel like they kind of hit similar areas. Now, you're done with your band. That's it. Nothing too hard, just a little bit of activation, and I have a story to tell you. So please grab your light weights. For me, my universal 2 pounds, right? My best find ever. I think I got 4 pounds of weight for like $5. Thought that was a steal. Okay, so grab your weights. If your shoulders will allow you, this is your lateral raise, all right? If your shoulders say, oh man, every time I get right there, it hurts, then don't use that arm, right? Maybe you just have to bend your arms. Maybe you just have to drop your weight and use only the weight of your arm. Okay. So yesterday I'm at the gym. Don't count either. Okay. It's going to be more than you want to count. I'm at the gym working out with one of my clients, and you know, I'm pretty chatty. It's friendly faces, right? People I don't know generally say something when I'm working with the client. Because why? Because it looks like we're having so much fun that they can't believe that in a training session, this is how we act. Hold the arms up, turn the palms up, open and close. So we happen to be using a machine for a stretch position, except when the man approached us, he thought we were getting ready to use the machine for its intended use. Which machine is it, you ask? It's the seated leg extension machine, okay? Which I don't have a problem with per se. It's just that release and relax around the world, palm to palm, thumb to thumb on the top, palm to palm, thumb to thumb. And if you're like, that kind of looks fun, what step is she doing? Push back, step in, step forward, other leg, push back, pull in, other leg forward. Are you back to my story? And if your legs are just, if you don't want to do your legs, don't worry about it. You can do whatever you want with your legs. Maybe you want to walk around your room. You got about 5 more arms. So we're using the leg extension seat for our piriformis stretch, except the man did not realize that when we walked up, and he says to me, release and relax. He says, be careful with that machine. He's like, I didn't know then, back in the day when I used to put the weight all the way down and you lift the whole stack, that I was tearing up my knees. This is exactly what I know. So I don't use the leg extension machine for actual leg extensions. We use the leg extension machine for seated load where we're not stressing the joint. But anyway, that was a very interesting thing. So he was trying to, you're doing big circles, to share a little wisdom, which I thought was very considerate, right? You look out and he pulled his track pants up and he's like, see the scar? Because he's had, surgeries, knee replacement. And he said, don't lift stupid the way that I did back when I didn't know any better. And he's like, the best thing to do is to keep the weight light to moderate and come in more often and just hit the muscle. And I was like, yeah, I said, just hit the muscle, not tear it up, the joint, right? Here we go. Windmill. Whew. What are we doing with our legs? You are now back into a rock step with your leg. If your arms are getting tired, let them relax. Why don't we all stop and relax for a second? Can you make your windmill go the other way? I don't know about you, but here's where my legs were a moment ago. I had this leg moving forward and back. So I'm going to switch my anchor leg now. Okay. And now the windmill comes from the back around the front, right? And you transition. You're rock stepping forward and back, doing this big, it's like expressive. I'm loving that word, expressive, dynamic, explosive, right? I would say it's a little less explosive than it is expressive, okay? Push around 4 more times. This is really important to be strong with these ranges of motion, right? The joint need this circular action of motion, do 2 more, is quite therapeutic, but it's also where most people have their weaknesses up here, right? Release and relax. Because we have to be opened and depressed so that everything can track properly in order to have full function. If the parts are jammed in and up, when you try to move your arm, you pinch things the wrong way. You're done with these. You're going to grab one heavier weight. Okay. You have erectors that run down and parallel to the spine and come all the way down and tie in, right, through the lumbar. And then you have another very large group of muscles, part of your hamstring complex and your glute complex. So with one weight, we are going to do single leg deadlift. The other foot is just going to be an assist foot for balance. So I'm turning to the side so that we can see the setup. All right. Look down at your feet. They're pointed forward. You've got one foot as your dominant leg. The other foot is just toes down. Take your free hand, put it behind your back. What if your shoulder doesn't like that? We're going to talk about that in a moment, okay? So if your shoulder doesn't like hand back behind your hip, then pull it across the front and leave it out of your way. All right, so here we go. Take your body weight, soften your knee a little bit on your stance leg, and then push the hips back. And now your weighted arm is the same side as your working leg, okay? You're going to just glide down. You want to be in hip hinge, not cat back. Cat back position here should feel horribly taxing across your low back in a way that makes you go red flag, red flag. So get long spine. And now pull yourself up. The hand is going to come back to the side body, squeeze. I'm just going to show you something with my other arm. If you have enough freedom in your arm to get it behind you, then you when you stand up, you'll be able to connect your hand with your elbow. And that's pretty much your stop point, a nice vertical line. Okay, so here we go. Soften the knee on the working leg, look down, lengthening the spine. The hand comes right to the base of the kneecap. Now I'm flexible enough that I could take my weight to mid shin and still have my spine doing exactly the right thing. That's taken me a lot of time to become very aware at what point you're going to keep going. Soften your knee on your stance leg. Down you go, down you go, down you go, down you go. If your head hangs and your head gets lower than your upper back, then you are not at the correct angle of spine. So there's a lot that goes into feeling. Pull your chin back into your chin, cervical spine retraction, right? All right, down you go. Now, without any more interruptions, pull up, squeeze the buns, anchor the arm, hinge the hips, soften the knee, down you go. Pull. There's a reason why we want our arm to track right in front of the leg, not forward. Keep it connected. You want your knuckles to run down the front of your leg. Pull up, do one more, squeeze, down, 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 looking down, soft knee, pull up, pinch, switch arms, switch sides. Maybe the deadlift isn't your move. I can only say so many times, soften the knee, push your weight back into your heel, hip hinge, flat spine, cervical spine retraction. All of these things have to like layer into you identifying what that like term means. So if you have the awareness to just know that you're not nailing the flat back spine, if you know that you are not hitting it on the mark, then stop doing this move. Walk away, march your feet, do squats, do some other move for the next minute. All right, here we go. Look down, soften your knee, because the deadlift is one of those moves that it's a very powerful move for the body. And yet you can tell so many elements have to be correctly activated in order for you to have your best form. You're more likely to hurt yourself, hurt your back, strain your back, right? By trying something and then continuing to do something that you know you're just not doing right. So, I mean, this is one of those things. I would love to think that I can give such specific directions that it teaches you to identify, oh, is my spine rounded or am I long? Is my knee soft? Are my knuckles rolling right to the front of my kneecap? When I come up, can I pull my hand back to my side body so I get straight lined? 3 more. Down, up, and squeeze. And you know, sometimes when I watch people in the gym, it's like everything about their form from their shoulders down is correct, but then what they're doing with their head by looking forward, that's all I have to see to go, they don't actually know that missing piece of it. You're looking down without letting your head hang. This is your last one. Come up, squeeze the buns. So give me a bicep curl. As the arm comes down, you're going to pass it off to the other arm. Bicep curl. It comes down and it comes down like 80% of the way, right? Because 100% of the way would be back down. But it comes down about 80% of the way so that you can pass it off to the other arm. Pull. Say, well, why aren't we just using both dumbbells? It's a little skill right here. To be able to transfer 5, 8, 6, 10 pounds, I don't know, without dropping the weight on your foot. Pull. So here's where the movement becomes much more than it seems. As you pass the weight off, take both arms and let them go to their clean start position. Pull, because you don't end in the clean position. You have to reset, pull, transfer, reset. And I leave my non-weighted arm in its opened, ready, tricep tensed line. Pull. All right, you ready for more? I think so. Can you lift? Uh-oh. Opposite leg. Lift, down, transfer. Lift, down, transfer. Say, wouldn't it be better if my feet were a little further apart? Why, yes, I think you're right. Feet apart, transfer. And now what's happening is you're getting all the way down because your leg that comes down is kind of telling your arm, oh, go all the way down. You've got plenty of time. Transfer, lift. Where does this take us in the scheme of stimulus, right? Coordination, right? Balance, right? Slow motion, right? You got plenty of time to stand at attention, pull, push. And I hope you've picked a weight that you're like, okay, it started a little bit light, and now that we're like 15 into this, you're ready to almost be done. Here we go. Pull, push. And I'll just add one more thing. This is your last one on this side, okay? Release and relax. Isn't it interesting? So this comes down to, what do we got? I got a 10. Your hamstring, that leg muscle, and your back muscles are so much more powerful than your bicep. So if you're someone that actually has some extra heavier weights around, when you hear that we're going into deadlift, let that go off in your mind, because I won't always say it. This happens to be my heaviest weight in here. So that's why I picked it for deadlift. But we just knocked out 15 reps with biceps with the same weight that we did deadlifts with. So that should tell you, my arms are strong, but I know that my bigger muscle in my leg is actually stronger than my arm. So you do have the ability to lift heavier. It comes down to, do you want to, right? All right, you're done with that weight. Grab your mat. Let's get on the floor. Maybe a little drink now. You'll need your towel. It doesn't hurt to go ahead and get your pillow just to make sure you have it. We're going to go into core stabilization work. Isn't it funny? Your whole class actually has been activating your core stabilizers, but now we're going to specifically do something where we bring your focus to it. I got the biggest compliment the other day. From my perspective, when a trainer approaches me and wants to know, hey, would you share X, Y, and Z with me? Because that looks like something I should be giving my clients. That was huge. Because it's one thing, right? My clients have a high level of trust. So they willingly go into the things that I give them. But from another trainer's perspective, who isn't doing a lot of the things that they see me do, go, wow, there's some value in that. I was like skipping around the gym going, anyway, but then wait, this is the funny part. Can you side sit? Side sit may be really, really uncomfortable for you. So I want to give you some options. If your hips are super tight and you've got your big pillow or your Eric's pad or a nice thick, rolled up towel, prop it under the lead hip. You don't want both buns on it, just the lead hip, and that will help you settle into a better place. That doesn't mean it's going to take all the fight out of it. You're just letting your body kind of, get ready here. So the internal and external hip rotators, they're in it. Trailing leg is an internal hip rotation. Lead leg is an external hip rotation. And the best thing that we're going to do for our hips right now is to find a way to leverage, hands back if you need to. If your leg doth protest, right, then you give yourself as much support as you can. I want you to feel like when the knee lifts up, your body tracks back a little bit to help the leg transition. Because in your most ideal lift, this knee will get vertical, but not if you're really restricted. And as you're seeing, what am I now doing? I'm manually taking this arm and I'm just helping the leg through the stick point and then release. Okay, look at your foot. Can you lean forward now and say, lift the foot? Foot down, lean back, pull the knee up. When you pull the knee up, if the bottom leg comes with you, your body is saying, I found a way to make it easier. Push the bottom knee down when you pull the top leg up. All right, rock, lean forward, foot, lean back, knee, foot. Crazy, right? If I was really going to be a stickler for form on this one, there would be much more I would be cleaning up. But right now, we're just trying to do our best to figure out how to move stiff parts that go, right? Pull. I kind of exaggerate the flop, right? What does it take? Maybe you're looking at your foot and you're like, I can't even get my leg up. You just keep trying. You got one more of each on this side. Just try. That's all. Put your mind there and go, okay, foot up. Release and relax. Bring that leg around, shake it out. While we get from one side to the next, I want us to do our QL walk. Okay, so I'm going to swing myself so that I'm using my mat as my runway. You all remember what that one is. It's like your little bun massage, right? Push, pull, push, pull. Do you have to lift your foot all the way up off the floor to get the muscles worked? Back it up. I would say no, because right, even if I let my foot drag along the floor, as long as I'm moving forward and back, the muscles are still active, right? But more muscles get worked if I'm able to pick my leg all the way up and drive it forward. Ready? Pull it back. Pull it back. Are your buns tender? Right? Yikes. I woke up this morning, release and relax. I was like, what did I do yesterday? I'm sore. And I actually don't know what triggered it, but I did get to play pickleball yesterday. Peggy, you'll appreciate this. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and prop. I like to use the word shim. I'm shimming my sit position a little bit. And from right to left side, I do feel like it's someone else's parts that are attached to my torso right now. Maybe this is your fluid side. I already know based on how I feel with this trailing leg here that it's going to need a little coaxing. So what do we get to do? Hand support. Look at your leg, because a lot happens when you put your eyes on your part, because you're mentally going, okay, leg, lift up, lift up, lift up, let the action follow through. It's like the squeaky door, right? You're prying it open. Take your hand if you can, help it, and down. Now, maybe you rest in between repetitions, right? So if your body is going kind of bristling at just even the setup, and then it's like really hung up, then don't do as many repetitions. Take a little rest. Don't stop. I mean, if you can keep going, keep going. I'm going to show you. If your leg is like, oh, wow, it's just cramping up, then unfold it, because a few seconds go by, put it back in, and then try it again, right? So just to have a count, we're going to do 3 more, and then we're going to add the foot rock. Okay, here we go. So allow your body, look at your leg, your torso twist, push the hand into the floor to get a cleaner lift. Help the arm, like use the arm down. 1 more. Pull it, pull it, pull it, pull it, pull it. Okay, so lean forward, look at your foot, rock the foot up. That's your glute medius, you guys, right? That's that weak part of the bun. Set it down, hands back, knee floats up. Lean forward, look at your foot. I try to direct your focus to your moving part instead of you just staring at me and the screen. You look at you and you look at that leg and be impressed with however far it's coming. Lean forward, hands on the floor, look at your foot, rock it up. And now that I planted the seed, when we go to lift the foot again, think about your glute medius and go, okay, that thing's going to work today. Touchdown. You've got 1 more, rock, lean forward. Maybe your foot just like rocks all the way up. Now you can look at the screen. So with my free hand, I can get hold of my foot and I can create more. This is torque, right? So I find that I don't have any stress going on. There's nothing that concerns me in my knee to do this, but I can absolutely help my limb learn a new pattern. And sometimes we have to take an assist. You could put a strap on your foot, right? And pull it to help get it up, release and relax. And maybe in our mobility class tomorrow, we'll do that, but slide out of it, right? The core work that we talked about. Here's where we're going to start. Okay. So some of you have actually done Pilates classes. Maybe you've even been on the Reformer, the Cadillac, you've done mat Pilates work, but that's what this is the base of our move, okay? So 1 leg is bent, 1 is straight, and I want you to see how my spine is in C curve, and I want you to come back. Maybe you need your towel. We're not going to stay back there for very long, but you're going back slowly. Isn't it crazy? Already, you should feel like you're working. You're going slow. Are you stuck? Did you already hit the floor? Go slow. Now, can you get back up? What does it take? Can you, if your head is touching the floor and you're like, oh no, I have to get back up. The first thing we do is we pick up our head, tuck your chin, look at your navel, because that means you're really in your good chin tuck. And now squeeze your bun so you feel your spine go to C curve. And then you're saying, okay, body, come up. And you're like, not this body. If you get hung up where it feels like you have to whiplash yourself up, then I want you to bend both legs, roll to one side, push yourself back up, because you're not ready to come up unless you're doing this position that I just got you out of, right? So, and then you start again. Rounded spine, looking at your abdomen, right? You're sliding back, pulling your navel to spine. You're going as slow as you can. Squeeze your buns, might I add. Go back slow, go back slow, go back slow. Touch. Let the head touch the floor because you get to try it again. Here we go. Pick up the head. Rounded spine. Pelvic tilt. Your buns, especially the bun on the straight leg, should be active. And now go, how do I get up? Maybe you grab your leg and you're like, okay, because I'm going to show you something. I can whip myself up and down. Like, did you see my arms? There are lots of ways to cheat. So I'm trying to show you a very slow version of something that your body is going to go, like, do we have to go so slow? Hollow yourself out, squeeze your buns so you feel like you're in pelvic tilt. And I can assure you that at about this range of motion, come up. If you lean back in S curve spine, that's when you go, oh, I tried that and it hurt my back. Because we don't do rollbacks in S. We do rollbacks in C. That's how we protect ourselves. And in C curve, your abs are engaged. Down you go. Switch legs. Ready? Squeeze your bun. And you're like, Michelle, I can't get up from here. Then bend your legs. Roll to the side. Push yourself up. Start again. Sit up to S. S makes you go, okay, I'm at attention. And then why do we float from C to S? Because your spine is actually supposed to be fluid. It's supposed to be able to do independent vertebrae movement. It's the problem when essentially the vertebrae act like they're fused in sections, that's where the problem lies. So we want to be fluid. C curve, chin to chest, look at your navel, squeeze your buns, go as slow as you can. At the point where you feel like your abs are working, be proud of yourself because you're going so slow that they're loaded. Release, relax. Even if you're like, okay, I don't want to do anymore, then just lay here and relax for a second, right? Raise your head, tuck your chin, feel like you go into your initial crunch. And then before you try to start pulling your shoulders off the floor, squeeze your buns, stay in full pelvic tilt, and you reach your arms and you're like, okay, I'm going to grab my leg. I'm going to help myself up. If you grab your leg and your foot lifts off the floor, that's another way that your body is trying to help you. Okay, sit up. S, 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 and then float to C. Now, I already know we have this thing that some of us have a very sensitive spot on the coccyx, so that transition from S to C is really painful. If that's you, stop. We're almost done. Squeeze your buns, hollow it out, squeeze. Keep trying to squeeze the bun on your straight leg even more. Go as slow as you can and release. You should feel like you want to do a modified cobra stretch right now. Okay. So belly down, wiggle the hips a little bit. I've got my feet comfortably wide. Whenever I come out of ab work, I make it a point to do the opposite movement with my spine. Okay. So that's why we're bowing back, elbow support, pull your shoulders out of your ears, push your elbows into the mat as firm as you can, like you're propping up even higher. And just, this is modified cobra. This is good enough for most of us to get an effective stretch through the front abdomen, and then yet feel something through the lumbar. Right? You're like, I thought we were trying to avoid feeling things in the lumbar. Well, it's part of its flexibility training, right? So let's go one step further, move the hands wider and more forward so that you can push your arms to full extension. Can I just say this? It's an odd thing how tight we get through the low back. And yet, this is one of the most effective stretches for people who struggle with low back discomfort. Doesn't it seem odd that we're not forward folding for low back stress? We're back bending, because the stress of the low back often correlates with really tight hip flexors, quads, diaphragm, psoas, TFL, all of these big terms, right? For our front body muscles. Keep squeezing your buns. Shoulders are now coming, right? We're bringing body down to the floor. Take a moment. Overlap your hands, put your forehead on your hands, and I want you to work your legs together. Just stretch the legs. And though you're not looking at the screen, okay, your forehead is on your hands. You're going to take your leg, try to keep it straight and in an alternating pattern. Barely lift the leg. So you're lifting it straight. This is your next exercise. And some of you might be lifting your legs so high that your hips are rolling off the floor and a little bit cockeyed. I want you to now feel your hip bones and the leg that you lift. Roll that hip bone to the floor. And then before you set the leg down, lengthen the leg. Don't lift it higher, make it straighter. Touch down, lift leg number 2. Let's get the hip bone to touch the floor, and then lengthen the leg more so you feel your glute fire up. Down, one more time each leg. Lift the leg. Most of us go too high, so that's why I want you to reference the hip bone on that leg and bring the hip bone to the floor, and then reach your toes further. Touch down. Lift the leg, hip bone to floor, straighten the leg even more. Release and relax. Spread the legs apart, bend the legs, and this is your reverse windshield wiper stretch, right? So all you're doing is letting the legs in their bent position float side to side. You're just swishing your hips. If you want to put one ear to the mat, right? You can do that. You don't have to keep your forehead on your hands, but what I don't want you to do is put your chin on your hands. And now I want you to think about why. Why would we not want our chin on our hands? What's it doing to our neck? It's crimping our neck. So we want to keep the neck neutral. Flip, flop, 5 more with the legs. Flip, flop. Get a little bit more aggressive, side to side. Everything's loosening up in there. And release. Okay, I do want, this next thing is our last thing, and it's just a stretch. So if you have 30 seconds, stay with me. Spread the legs. This is so weird, okay? You're going to put your bottoms of your feet together, and you're going to try to wiggle the knees further apart. And when you wiggle the knees further apart, the feet might separate, but then bring the feet back together. That should make you just go, wow, something really intense is getting ready to happen. Okay, so you ready? Now, pelvic tilt to the floor. Pull your belly in, and you should be feeling a massive amount of stretch in 2 different places. The stretch happens along the inner thigh and that crease line of the joint up through the inner thigh. The activation happens in the derriere. So just keep trying to pelvic tilt into the floor. And release the legs. It's funny to end on that note, right? Help yourself up as you're peeling yourself off the floor because you're done, right? However you want to get up. But if you want to do downward dog, keep the feet wide. Start walking the hands back, softening your legs as much as you need to. Don't roll up until all of your weight is balanced in your feet, and then help yourself up. Take your last full deep breath. Release and relax. You are free to roam. But make sure you come back tomorrow. Okay, you guys, well done you.